affair with one of his male friends. I want you to talk about what happened.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Told you guys about Christina and oh my days. Told you guys about Christina and Henry. Guys, if you are new to the channel, make sure you like, you share, you subscribe, you click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are the returnees, you make sure you like, you share, and you subscribe, okay? And you make sure you grab your merchandise. Send them back to the manufacturer, baby. Mineral gang. All right, let's go. So, talking to you guys about Christina and Henry, I think it was quite interesting. I think I've not heard Henry speak so much since this show started, but I want to say, you know, two things were proven right with Christina and Henry. Number one, what was proven right was that Henry never fancied Christina in the first place, which is what contributed towards the downfall of the relationship. Number two, Christina had come out of a very tumultuous relationship. She had been traumatized, I would say abused in some sense, but just been in a toxic relationship basically. And that also contributed towards the failed oversight of this relationship because both parties were looking at each other from a different perspective. I think what was interesting was the fact that Henry really spoke about the fact that he was frustrated by Christina's behavior.
My head.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut it off there. That's not how you handled it. She got the text. Essentially, I think she was upset that I called her dishonest.
And I think the frustration was really around the fact that she would lie about, you know, these texts and about the fact that obviously, yes, he's not gay, you know? And so not only that, Christina also denied, you know, the fact that she basically denied that she really sent these texts.
So Christina, originally you told Henry that it came from a reliable source.
That's true, yeah.
And then you changed it to an unknown number.
Well, they seem to know a lot about Henry.
Who
more
they?
than I.
We saw with Christina in the beginning, she denied craving this intimacy from her husband. So no, I didn't really want it. Christina, yes, you did. You wanted him to like you. You wanted him to be attracted to you. That's the reason why the text situation actually happened in the first place. You wanted that, and the way that because you've been in a toxic relationship, look what it does. It makes you do what? Dysfunctional things. Like what? Well, use a text to kind of blackmail your own partner into keeping a good image for you. Number two, also to hopefully get him to like you and say, hey, I'm not gay. You know, hopefully to prompt you. It's very childish mindset because a child in a relationship, a young person in a relationship does these things, hoping that it brings a reaction that will cause their partner to actually pine after them. As you get older, you realize this is not the way. Okay, this is not the way.
I didn't want to force someone to do something they didn't want to do. And absolutely nothing against Henry, but like, it was just awkward.
It was awkward.
She said obviously because she didn't want to make a move unless he made a move. So her restriction was that he wasn't desiring her, so she didn't want to desire him. And I said this again is about the fear in a relationship. Not, you know, you want that man to take the lead, to be the assertive one. But the thing is, you had a broken lens. What I do appreciate about Christina, and I think we'll address this later on, is the fact that she had an ability to actually look at her own behavior and say, this behavior wasn't right, or she was wrong about this particular behavior.
In that moment, I was, and I'm going to own up to it. I was just furious, but I don't think he's gay.
You believed it because you would have never, like,
right? On several occasions we've seen her. Last few episodes she said it. This episode she actually said it as well. She even apologized to Henry later on because she knew that her behavior was off, and I respect that. I respect somebody who can say, look, I looked at my behavior and that was off. Yep, that was wrong. Yep, that was stupid. Yeah, that wasn't right. I respect that. You know what I mean? Because it takes a grown ass man or woman to able to really look deep in themselves and say, hey, I don't agree with what I did. You know what I mean? And so the question was, Henry, do you think that Christina would make a good match? Did you think Christina would make a good match in the beginning? And the fact that he said, I thought, already told me what we needed to know.
You think Christina had the potential to be a good match?
I thought, I saw, like on paper, I saw why it made sense because...
Oh, Henry, you didn't think she was a good match? And that contribute towards the downfall of your marriage. You also are a big part of this. Henry cannot get away with this. I'm sorry. Henry cannot get away scot-free. He must be told, Henry, the fact that you didn't fancy your wife or didn't find her attractive was clearly evident. Hence why when you are struggling to give affirmations, which is why we said about the Karen situation, that, you know, there's a reason why you can't give affirmations. Yeah? You're not convinced. Same thing here. Because he didn't fancy her, he couldn't tell her every single time, oh, you look good. So when he's asked, oh, Henry, do you think she's fit? Or do you think she's attractive? Oh, yeah, I think she's attractive. A liar! Because you told us yourself just now, you didn't think that she was attractive.
Struggling because I clearly wasn't attracted to you for a number of reasons. And I think like this was the last, I'm going to throw a bunch of mud at the wall and see if any of it sticks. And it was clear.
You didn't find her attractive from the beginning. Why? Because certain things happened in the beginning. Some people come with you information. We'll deal with that in a second. But you didn't start off on the foot of liking her. So you two were trying to convince yourself, and therefore the distance, the lack of conversation, the inability to really indulge Christina, making her feel like she's unwanted. Actually, you contribute towards that, sir. Yeah, you did. You contribute towards that, and you must take some responsibility on that particular level. You should have potentially brought this up to her earlier on in the relationship and actually addressed it. If you felt like she was coming out of a relationship too soon, etc., etc., this could have been a point of conversation. But we never had it. You kept quiet. And actually, you just told yourself, I'm going to quit this. I'm going to just stay the course. I'm going to be committed to the course. And I'll quit it when I need to quit it. You know what I mean? That's why you said, I thought. And not just, yes, I thought she was a great partner. He said he saw signs early on that it was not going to work. And also, the reason why he didn't want to kiss her and stuff like that is because he didn't want to lead her on. A bit like Karen's situation, isn't it? Yeah? So, bro, like, you've outed yourself now. You've told us that you are actually the problem. You've told us that you were the problematic one because you didn't communicate this. Christina didn't know any of this. She didn't realize. She was reacting like she should not have, but she was reacting on something. She was not getting what she needed from you. And it was funny because I think the end scene when they're doing the reunion, end of this thing, where she says the Henry that's off camera is so different, right? And Woody testifies to that.
One, Henry is outgoing, he talks a lot, he's fun, he takes shots, he does all the things that people don't think he does. And that's kind of like how we clicked, because I was like, you're not that quiet. Like, what's up? Like, what's the real? And then like...
And I think that's so important because that means there are two Henrys. The Henry that was given to Christina on camera lacked the ability to give Christina what she needed. When off camera, when he's chilling with Woody and them, the guy is funny, he's outgoing, he's at that. So basically what you're saying is you shut down in the marriage, bro, before she shut down. So you're blaming her for blackmailing, I agree, bruv, it was mad, yeah? But you shut down the relationship first. You shut down from the very beginning. She never stood a chance. She didn't stand one chance. As much as I know she lied about where she stays and the fact she had a house, you never give her a chance. That's why she was in Mexico. She ain't got a house probably. Speak. And so he questioned how mentally prepared she would be after leaving a 5-year relationship 8 months prior. And let me just say something. 5-year relationship is not easy. 8 months may or may not be a long time. I mean, I was out of dating for 2 years, and it takes a little bit of a while to get back into the routine. But also not just that, there is still residue. Depending on how it ended, how it ended for me was that there was a tumultuous end. It was a stormy end. It was a painful end, a cheating end. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I think it was important to understand that, I can understand where Henry's mindset is here in the sense of you don't know how prepared somebody is. But the truth of the matter is, again, there was more to the story. The more to the story was that the
and I didn't want to say it, but with a married guy, apparently, where they did toxic things to one another. And from that...
She was toxic, and he thought to himself, I don't know if she's ready for a relationship, And so he kind of lightly graced it by saying the 5-year relationship wasn't great, and that the person also was a married person. So I don't know if there's a little bit of judgment from Henry towards her, but it does make sense now why she says about the man always, making that first move, always wanting her, sex early. She didn't, and this is what she said, and this probably makes sense why the letter was what it was, is that there was things that she was doing that were not conducive to her value and her self-worth. And unfortunately, that 5-year relationship with that married person that she had or whatever, was a contributing factor to that. a big time contributing factor to that. And I think that's a conversation itself, because we spoke about this in the letter, that something wasn't quite right. Something wasn't quite right. And he said, you see, and the very impatience that she showed towards Henry episodes back when he was exposing his lack of confidence, I say, or say that he didn't want to improve on his confidence, was because the fact that there was actually speaking more about herself, and the fact that she needed that safe space, and the safe space that she needed, she destroyed by destroying his. You know what I mean? By not being a comfort for him. Not having confidence is a turn off for me, sis, like, yo, you killing yourself out here, my friend. So there was 2 Henrys that were on the show in some shape or form, and I think I definitely feel like obviously Henry held back, and not only that, so Henry went on one. My man was letting everybody know, listen, I'm not here for the bants. I'm not here for the jokes. I'm not here for the nonsense. I'm not here for the blackmailing. I'm not here for the madness. Let me let you know, I'm going to free the realness, yo. Okay, I'm going to let y'all know this girl was trying to blackmail me. You know what I mean? Like, it's real, it's deep. And, it's funny because Christina's answer to these things show us that, Christina, were you off your meds at this time and then you're now coming to your senses because you're back on them? Because her answer was that Christina thought it might be production that messaged her. Well, I mean, she can't be far from the truth, because production done somehow found Karen to get her a message about who Karen was dating. That didn't make sense. The fact is that it potentially could have been production, because she said a number she didn't recognize. It wasn't New Orleans number. And then obviously Henry just dropped some major bars. He said, that's not how it went down. And sometimes you have to regulate with boundaries. You have to let a person know, listen, we don't stand with those things around here. You understand? You know what I mean? Like, we don't play with them things there. Like, don't do that to me, cuz, like, let me let the truth know. Like, you were not coming to me like man to man. You were coming, woman to man. You weren't coming to me like you loved me. You weren't coming to me like you cared for me. You came for me like because I had come for you and said about your dishonesty, and suddenly a text comes through and which has magically disappeared about how you think I'm gay. And then it was like when Henry launched into it and talked about the fact he had a toxic relationship with a guy that wasn't married.
And I didn't want to say it, but with a married guy.
And the whole black part of the room suddenly was like, yo, their faces were doing the most. Listen, Woody's face,
where they did toxic,
was like, gotcha. You had Amani's face like, damn, this is a little bit too much. Miles was there popping his collar like,
I'm like, okay, that's a huge red flag. Like, is she gonna do crazy things to me? And then I let it play out.
Yo, this is hot right now, fam. You understand? Karen just looked like, Karen had a hand on his leg. Like, that's as much as she was gonna let out. She'd had a hand on his leg. It was like, everyone was looking at like, blood, this is a bit mad, It's a bit mad. And then that's when Christina said, I'm ready to move on. And the tears and that. And I'm gonna be very frank with you. The tears ain't gonna save you, Christina. There needs to be a change of behavior. As much as you've apologized, there needs to be a change of behavior. You know what I mean? You need to show us a different side of you, Christina. You need to work on yourself and actually grow in confidence, because the low self-esteem is causing you to react the way that you'd blackmail somebody to keep a certain image. That's not right. That's not right. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously when Woody exposes that Henry isn't that quiet guy, when the cameras are off, and Christina herself confirmed it, when the cameras are off, it's a different Henry. So we got two different Henrys. Yeah, you got a Henry, that when he was with Christina, struggled to be himself. And yet when he was with the boys, when he was with Woody as well, one-to-one, he was different. To the point where Woody had a good relationship now with Henry. And we heard Henry making even jokes about replacing Miles as a best friend now. So we know that Henry's got this vibe in him. Unfortunately, the type of woman that he had was not like his best friend. And so I really believe that he fancies his best friend anyway. And it's just that she just wasn't giving him play. But I don't know. I think with Christina and Henry finally just had enough. He snapped. He just started giving out bodies, bruv. Just start giving out body blows. And so the shots were stinging. And I have to admit, Christina, unfortunately, you had to hold those bangs. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. Sometimes you do things wrong, and a simple sorry won't solve the issue. Sometimes you need a bit more. And that's what Henry gave Christina in this particular episode. So guys, Make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for a notification of the uploads. Also, watch our other reviews as well, okay? And watch out for other reviews. We talk about Ready to Love, and talk about also Put a Ring on It. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. We appreciate